Good morning. Today I am giving a talk about unfair dismissal and the effect of COVID-19 on employers and employees. The coronavirus, COVID-19, has had a devastating effect on society. In every walk of life, it has ravaged through, and it has left many people unemployed throughout industry and commerce. It has also been an occasion for employers to take advantage unfairly of people who simply they don't like, and to get rid of them under the cloak of the virus and inability to find any further work for them in the business. The government has introduced, as you all know, a furlough scheme. That scheme is now shortly to come to an end, whereby the government pays for most of the employee's salary, leaving the employer to pay the balance if they want to. When the scheme comes to an end and the furloughed employees have no further funds, the question will be whether the employer will take them back on. That, of course, depends on whether or not there is work in the business. If there is no work, then those who have been furloughed will simply have lost their jobs and be thrown onto the labour market. The question will then arise whether those employees have been made redundant or whether they have been sacked unfairly. That depends upon a host of scenarios. First and foremost, the employee must have worked for at least 2 continuous years with the employer. And the requirement of 2 continuous years is also important from a redundancy point of view, because the same rules insofar as compensation apply to redundancy. How much compensation will be awarded to an employee who has been made redundant will very much depend upon how many years he, she or they have worked with the employer, but they must have worked for at least a minimum period of 2 years. So the employee will have to consider their situation, whether they have been made redundant or whether the dismissal is unfair. What is the situation concerning the employer? What work has he available now? What work did the employer have available after lockdown? What work did the employer have available before lockdown that they don't have available now? These are all pertinent matters to be discussed, and there is a formal procedure to go through to make an employee redundant, to convince an employee that there is no job. So both employers and employees have to consider their situation carefully, consider their options. We at Gulbenkian and Andonian solicitors will be able to advise both employer and employees about their situation as the furlough scheme now comes to an end gradually. And employees will then have to consider their situation, because the government will have no further funds available to sustain them. And they would have been not working for a period of several months. They may have become unskilled as a result, may have forgotten their skills. So it will be the question of retraining. Situations may have arisen in the office as a result of the COVID-19 virus, which requires retraining of employees coming back after furlough, if they are indeed to come back. And so these are all matters of huge consideration to take into account. So we're there to help if you have any issues. Thank you.